Let's look at our next problem, problem B. In problem B, we have x squared plus y squared equals 26 and 3x squared plus 25y squared equals 100. This example works out much better for elimination. Why? Because I can easily just take this top equation and multiply it by a number and eliminate either the x squareds or the y squareds. I think it's going to be easiest to eliminate the x squareds by multiplying this top equation by a -3. Again, be careful. You have to multiply that whole equation through by a -3. Let's see what that does. That will get us a -3x squared minus 3y squared equals, well, the -3 times 26 will give us a -78. And then the bottom equation, the 3x squared plus 25y squared equals 100, can stay the same. And we'll just be adding when we eliminate. Well, the reason why this works out is because now we've got a -3x squared added to a positive 3x squared. Those will just cancel out and eliminate. Next, we have a we have a -3y squared and a positive 25y squared, which when added together will get us a 22y squared equals, let's see, on the other side, we have a -78 added to a positive 100, which gets us a positive 22. Then dividing both sides by 22 to solve the equation for y gets us that y squared equals, well, 22 divided by 22 is just 1. The problem is now I've got y squared equals 1. Not y equals 1, y squared equals 1. Well, how do you get rid of something squared? We've done this lots of times. Well, you take the square root of both sides, but remember, there's a catch. When you take the square root of both sides, you get a plus or minus symbol when you do that. So that gives me y equals plus or minus. Well, there's also an issue. What is the square root of 1? Well, the square root of 1 is just actually 1. So I get two answers for y. Positive 1 and -1. What does that mean? It means I'm going to end up with at least one pair of points. One with a positive 1 as my y and one as a -1 as my y. Now, how do I find my x's? I need to take my positive 1 and my -1 that I just got out here and plug them into one of the two equations. It doesn't matter which. I'm going to plug it into what I think is the easier equation, which is the x squared plus y squared equals 26. So again, what am I plugging in? I'm plugging in I'm going to start with the positive 1 first. Let's see what happens. Let's plug in a positive 1. So the first thing that you're plugging in is a positive 1. Remember that the 1 is squared. So positive 1 squared is still just 1. Equals your 26. Keep on going. We'll subtract 1 from both sides. That will get us an x squared equals 25 now. Again, just like before, you have to take the square root of both sides. And just like before, what happens is you're going to pick up a plus or minus symbol. So that means I'm actually going to get two solutions for this x. I'm going to get plus or minus 5. So what this means is when I plug in a y of 1 is what I just did. Y equals 1 is what I plugged in. I get two x's. So my y equals 1 here actually gave me 2 points. It gave me a when I had a y of 1, I got two x's. I got a x of 5 and an x of -5. That's what I just got, was these 2 points. And I'm still not done. I still have to plug in my other value for y that I got, which was -1. I'm going to plug this into the same equation though. My x squared plus y squared equals 26. So I'm going to replace that y with a -1. Remember, the -1 is then going to get squared. What happens when you square a negative? It turns into a positive, so it'll still be a +1 that comes out. Equals 26. So you'll start off the same way. You'll subtract 1 from both sides. And that'll do almost the exact same thing as last time. We get an x squared equals 25. And just like before, we've got to take the square root of both sides of the equation. Again, what does that do? It gives us a plus or minus symbol in front of our answer, which gets us that x equals plus or minus the square root of 25, which is plus or minus 5. So when our y equals -1, we also get two x values, 5 and -5. That means our answer with the point with a y value of -1 is also going to split into 2 points as well. It's going to split into the point with an x value of +5 and -5. So we're getting a total of how many answers here? We're getting a total of 4 points where these two graphs intersect. Which I know we haven't seen these graphs before, but basically what we're looking at is two graphs that are intersecting, and it will probably look something like this. Some stretched out versions of circles that are intersecting at 4 different points, something like that. Just to give you an idea that this can happen.